It's The Clash. And it's been confirmed in explosive fashion that all was not well between Harry, Meghan and their podcast paymasters Spotify, with their £15 million three-year mega deal officially coming to an abrupt end. The streaming giant has decided against commissioning a second season of the Archetype series after receiving just 12 episodes of dreary interviews with a host of woke Sussex pals. But the real knockout blow came from Spotify executive Bill Simmons in a no-holds-barred podcast of his own. What do you think? Very simple question. Is Spotify's top exec right to describe Harry and Meghan as effing grifters? By the way, if you don't know what that means, it's an American term which means that you're out to swindle someone, basically. It means you're a small-scale swindler. Let me know your thoughts. Email me, dan@gbnews.com. Vote in our poll at GB News on Twitter. The results shortly, but doing battle on this now. Socialite and royal expert Lady Victoria Hervey, and the journalist and broadcaster and defender of Harry and Meghan, Nina Mishkov. So, Lady V, I mean, I found this utterly extraordinary because you've been in Hollywood a long time before you moved back here.
Yeah.
And Hollywood people don't talk like that. They might backstab people behind the scenes.
Yeah,
but this is the boss of Spotify, right, in terms of podcasts. He runs the commercialisation of that business. For him to go out publicly and describe these two as effing grifters, that doesn't happen. This is huge. Their Hollywood dreams are crumbling, are they not?
Yeah, no, I was actually quite shocked when I first heard it. I was like, wow, OK, he is savage. I mean, he is literally going for the jugular here. And obviously it must have ended, so badly. I don't know how much they did get paid of the total amount, but, they feel ripped off. I mean, Spotify, obviously, they were promised the world and...
Come on, 3 years.
They did not deliver.
3 years, £15 million. And they deliver 13 half-hour episodes. It's pathetic.
And did you see how many producers were actually on...
Yeah, hundreds.
Yeah.
And now Netflix wants to pull out too. So this is disastrous.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know.
Well, that's what I've been told, Nina, and I have impeccable sources on this.
There's the Invictus Games. There's also they're going to be filming in Africa. You have no idea about the Netflix. But
I was told by a top Hollywood source tonight. This was a conversation I had literally before we came to air. Quote me on this, I'll be proven right within a few weeks or a few months. Netflix wants to follow Spotify out the door and dump the Sussexes.
Why would Netflix do that?
Why are they doing that?
Tonight, a longtime aristocrat and commentator, Lady Victoria Hervey, delivers what many are calling a scathing verdict. Meghan Markle has dragged Prince Harry into the dirt. The term, grifters, hurled at the Sussexes by a top podcast executive? To Lady Victoria, it was the culmination of a very public collapse. The question we'll unpack. Was Harry pulled down by Meghan's ambition, or did he walk willingly into the mire? In his early 30s, Harry was a royal with purpose. Military service, charity, a public role built on his mother's legacy. He had goodwill, relevance, a future. But 3 years into the move to California, under Meghan's wing, that legacy is fraying. Lady Victoria doesn't hold back. She has dragged him into the dirt. He says he followed her willfully. People loved Prince Harry. That line speaks to a dramatic transformation, from public servant to headline commodity. And the hits keep coming, being labeled grifters, losing deals, burning trust. Harry allowed the shift, and now he's watching his reputation sink. One moment that sticks out, the end of their reported $20 million deal with Spotify. Executive Bill Simmons called the Sussexes the F***gay grifters star. That public condemnation caught the attention of Lady Victoria.
Why would Netflix do that? Because their Netflix series, the Sussexes Netflix series, it's very hard to say that actually, it topped the charts for months. For months and months and months. So they've delivered for Netflix and they are still delivering. In terms of Spotify, that guy is just trying to make a name for himself. He's got money.
Don't be ridiculous. He's already got 5 million followers. He's one of the most successful executives in American media.
And actually, to use that language, that's not a language of a professional. That's not an executive's language. It really isn't. And let me just say about their Spotify podcast, there are 12 episodes and the Christmas episode. Having said that, that was their podcast. Meghan was top People's Choice in People magazine, which is the top showbiz magazine.
Well, who cares?
People pay for that.
You cannot pay for People's Choice. That's voted for by the public. And also in the Gracie Awards, she was top entertainment podcast host.
Dove dumped her because she was lazy. And do you know what I found so interesting about this Lady Victoria? What I found so interesting is, you know, when I used to speak to the courtiers all the time working within the royal family, they always used to describe Harry and Meghan as entitled, as too lazy to work hard.
I don't believe that for a moment.
Now
I think that's
it's been proven by the commercial sector. Just let Lady V respond.
I think that is actually one of the reasons why, you know, she took Harry to America, because she didn't want to be that person like the royal life and going to hospitals and visiting sick children and opening hospitals.
She argues this wasn't just business gone wrong. It was a collapse of their credibility. When you have the money, the media deal, the platform, and then you're publicly called a grifter, you're not just losing a contract. You're losing authority. And for Harry, once trusted by the public, this kind of label is devastating. It's the tipping point in his slide. Lady Victoria doesn't accuse only Harry. She leverages her critique at Meghan's influence. She says Meghan dragged him into the dirt, pushed him to America to escape the crown, and into a life of spectacle. She also asserts that Meghan didn't want the royal duties life, visiting hospitals, attending official engagements, and that she pulled Harry into roles neither suits anymore. Was Meghan the catalyst, the strategist, or was Harry complicit? The dynamic is clear. One partner now seems dominant, the other diminished. The royal family watches as one of its former stars falls behind the curtain. The public perception of Harry has shifted. No longer the cheeky, brave prince, but a man caught in a narrative of grievance and branding. Lady Victoria says the royal image can't survive this kind of meltdown without consequences.
All the good work she did there.
She wants the celebrity lifestyle. She wants
almost
the red
undercover.
carpet.
She did that.
Nina,
she worked so hard with those women at Grenfell.
Come on.
If they had done a good job and they'd worked hard for Spotify, Spotify wouldn't have just done them. Do you not accept that your heroes, Harry and Meghan, are just allergic to hard work?
They are not my heroes, but they are not allergic to hard work. And I don't think if you looked at what Harry has achieved in his life and his hard work in the army, he is not
What's
a shirker.
What's he achieved the past 3 years since moving to Los Angeles?
He has achieved a lot. He's achieved...
What's he achieved over the past 3 years?
What about his Invictus Games?
No, I'm not talking about that. He did that when he was in the royal family. Nina,
doing.
Name me one thing that Harry has achieved in the past 3 years since moving to Hollywood.
Life.
So he's achieved nothing for the public?
No, he's
achieved nothing for the public, and that's why he said he was moving.
Millions also for his from his book. He's given a load of money from his book.
So he's made money for himself?
And he's made money from himself. Well, he has to have... you deny that he should be able to make his own money?
No, but
he has to make his own money.
I'm
Otherwise, you'd say he's sponging
off... done for public service over the past 3 years.
He has worked very hard on their charities.
I'm glad you agree with me. They're about one thing.
No, not one thing. I don't.
The moolah. The greenback Lady V. That's what this is about, Lady V.
No, it's not.
What am I
it's
saying?
absolutely not. And I have to say...
OK, Nina, just let Lady V respond.
So what do you want me to say on it?
Well, haven't they proven they're all about money?
What has he done? I mean, look, he has... although the book, you know, a lot of people didn't really like the book, but he obviously did make money from the book, right?
You would disagree with millions of people around the world. The biggest-selling non-fiction book in history.
Just let Lady V make her point.
But she has dragged him into the dirt. You know, people loved Prince Harry before.
She hasn't dragged him into the dirt. She has not.
And, you know, he's just followed her into it willfully.
She has helped him to extricate himself from a toxic situation in this country. I'd like to go back to Spotify on the podcast, because the Obamas had a contract.
Yeah, and that was cancelled as well.
They are very happy with Audible. And I bet you very soon that Harry and Meghan will be with Audible or whoever else.
Lady V, this has damaged Harry and Meghan, though, because when you have a big company like Spotify describing them as effing grifters...
having an exec like this coming out and calling them a grifter...
obviously a repulsive being.
That is a very negative thing that is going to probably have a very negative spin on things with also, like, her representation.
Do you know what, Nina? It's astonishing to me that you can't just admit they're lazy. They're afraid of hard work. They expected to go over there and make tens of millions simply by virtue of who they are. And you know what Hollywood is like? Lady V will tell you this. Hollywood is all about what you're doing now. People are expected to work.
And she is about to sign a big deal with Deal.
But she's not ready
let's see,
for
Dior
hard
have denied that tonight. And let me just make one final point. You know, they want to be like Oprah Winfrey. They want to be like Ellen DeGeneres in the big house in Montecito, Lady V.
Right.
Well, Oprah Winfrey and Ellen DeGeneres worked 5 days a week on producing the most popular talk show in America. In Hollywood, you have to graft in order to achieve your billions.
You know, just by seeing like their day-to-day, I don't know, you know, it just seems like they just expect everything and just not putting in the work.
When a royal becomes a brand, when charity becomes content, when titles become baggage, the institution loses respect. And while Meghan and Harry fight for relevance in the US, the palace remains grounded in service. That contrast? It speaks volumes. Lady Victoria's words are stark. She has dragged him into the dirt. Now the question is, does Harry know how far he's fallen? Or does he still believe the pitch of fame holds the redemption he once sought in duty? To recover, Harry would need to reclaim his identity. Without Meghan's brand, without the constant stream of public exposure, he would need to show authenticity again. But is that even possible when the headlines, the deals, the narratives are so tightly controlled? Because if he doesn't, he risks being remembered not as the prince who changed the system, but as the man who lost himself in a system he walked away from. Lady Victoria Hervey may only speak for a segment of society, but her verdict is loud and clear. Meghan Markle has dragged Prince Harry into the dirt. The question now is whether he'll dig himself out, or stay buried beneath the spectacle they created. What do you think? Are the Sussexes victims, or are they the architects of their own downfall? Drop your thoughts below, I read them all. Subscribe for deep royal commentary, fearless insights, and the stories they don't talk about at the palace.